Hi guys, I'm live again today, Danny from the Magic Junk Drawer, and I wanted to talk a little bit about this. Oh boy, just got rickrolled, but I've rickrolled myself. I wanted to talk today a little bit about the Yanny and Laurel clip that's gone like totally crazy. So a few years ago, we had this phenomenon with the blue black dress. Some people saw it as blue and black, some people saw it as white and gold. And this morning when I got up, there was a video from Moneybag 73, and I'm a big fan of his. And he was saying how he thinks that it could be some kind of a Mandela effect. I'll put his link in the description box after this video is over. I'm not going to be too long today. I have to go to work. But when the blue black dress first came out, that whole thing, I saw it as blue and black. And I couldn't understand how some people saw it as white and gold. It just was, to me, it was so straight up blue and black. And then what happened was, I had the picture up on my cell phone. And you know, with the iPhone, if you put the phone down, it shuts, like it goes back to the home screen. And I walked away from it, and when I went back into my room and I picked the phone up and opened it, the picture was still there, and now the same picture, was white and gold. So kind of crazy that that happened. And then last year there was the teal sneaker. Some people saw it as teal, some people saw it as pink. I originally saw it as pink, and then when I saw it later on, I saw the shoe as teal. Now, what I find so fascinating, now my dad's an artist, so he's really good with color. He understands a lot about color and lighting and that kind of stuff. And my brother knows a lot about color too. And with the way they explain it, the way it is, the way the dress could look, depending on how you were looking at it, because of the background lighting, I don't know. Apparently, this is not the only item. Like, there is some kind of a, it looks like a checkerboard, and there's a little gray cylinder on one of the squares, and with the gray cylinder on one of the squares, it makes the green color look different or whatever because of the cylinder. I don't know. Anyway, the point being is that I totally understand what they're saying when they explain it, but why is it that it was just this dress? How come this doesn't happen all the time? How come nobody is like, oh, I'll take the blue shoes, and then when they arrive at home, they're pink? Like, it's just these certain pictures, and this Yanny and Laurel thing. So my brother texted me last night, what do you hear? I'm like, what are you talking about? Because of course I'm last to know anything. So he sent me the clip, and I heard Laurel. Laurel, Laurel, Laurel. So he said that him and his wife heard Laurel, but their two boys heard Yanny. So then I listened to this whole thing about how older people are hearing a lower frequency, and Laurel is a lower frequency than Yanny is. So I bought that because what do I know? And then this morning I got up and I listened to, and today is my early day. I have class at 6 a.m. So it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. I get up, I see this Moneybags video, and when I listen to the clip he plays, as clear as day, it's Yanny. I can't even hear Laurel. So I'm like, okay, now what? My ears didn't get younger overnight, you know? So throughout the day, I would pull up the text message that my brother sent me, so it was the same video. It wasn't like I was searching for other videos, and sometimes I would hear Laurel and sometimes I would hear Yanny, and between both of them it was so crystal clear. It's not like it was muffled at all. So I'm gonna play it here to see what you guys hear, what I hear now. This damn blue and black dress. I know, I wanted to do this the opposite way. I wanted to have my phone free and use the camera on the new camera phone I have, but computer phone, whatever, webcam, whatever, but I don't know, I can't figure it out. I'm just really not good when it comes to technical things. Okay, here we go.
Do you hear Yanny?
Now I'm only hearing
Or
Laurel.
Laurel?
Laurel. Laurel.
A recent Twitter poll found that 47% of people hear Yanny, while 53% hear Laurel. Clearly, this has created an internet argument that is dividing the nation. So, what is the science behind the madness? One of the first aspects is priming. If you were to play this clip without providing the option of Yanny,
I want to put this, I'll put this person's video in the link too, so you can see this one. This one is, do you hear Yanny or Laurel? Solved with science. Okay, but once again, what are these? The only two words that we have this happen with? I mean, people never had this happen with any other two words. It's just these two words, Yanny and Laurel. And what do either of the two words mean? I mean, they're names, right? Yanny, I know that musician, and Laurel, I guess it's a name. Um, but this is wild. So what I'm wondering is, I mean, this sounds really crazy, even for me, but could it be the whole thing with the multiple realities? Is it that we slide from one reality to the next? And then they say that when you hear the buzzing in your ear, you're changing realities. And that's when I'm like, every time I hear it, I'm like, oh shit, now I'm changing realities. What's going on here? And how do I get to the reality that I want to be at? You know, the reality where I get everything I want. I can eat whatever I want, never gain any weight. I can drink a lot of beer and not get hungover the next day, because that's the reality I'd like to be in. This one here, it's a little bit, you know, bah humbug. So, I don't know. I'm wondering what people are thinking about this. Do you think it's just something, like they said, the age of your ears? But if that's true, then how come sometimes I can hear Yanny and sometimes I can hear Laurel? Because I don't understand that. I mean, my ears should always hear the same thing if it depends upon the age. The same thing with the blue dress. I mean, consistently across the board, I always saw it as blue and black. Never saw it as white and gold until that one day my phone shut off. I went, picked up the phone, and there all of a sudden it was white and gold. And I was like, oh, damn. And, you know, it's wild to me that some people really, and when you're looking at it, you're like, how could you see anything else? It's clearly blue and black. Trying to see. Oh, here's another one. Vote. What do you hear? All right, let's just pull up this one and see if I hear anything different.
remember the dress debate?
The
Well,
dress
now
debate. All right, here we go. Laurel. 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 Laurel.
All right, so that's obviously Laurel, right?
That's what I heard.
I heard Laurel. Did you?
All right, this is what they heard, Laurel. Let me see if I can find one where I hear Yanny. See this one here, it's on the channel ASAP Science or App Science. I'll post the link in the description. I, this morning, heard Yanny. Now when I put it on, I hear Laurel. So I don't know what goes on. Here's another one. Let's see if I can...
By now, you've probably heard about the Laurel versus Yanny phenomenon.
Let's see here.
Gee, they call this a bistable.
What are some of the
I don't
other
want to hear
reasons
any
that people like
explanations. I just want to hear it.
Laurel to hear Yanny instead?
You can certainly take people who hear Yanny.
I love it. It's a viral debate. It's so funny. But, oh, here it's on Jimmy Kimmel last night. Let's see.
The last thing I want to do is threaten them. This has forever divided 25 times.
I don't know why sometimes it switches for me.
It's like that. What's real to one person is bigger than this. This just so happens to be in the civil.
I don't hear him playing it. There's another one. It's all over the place. Here's the voting one. Let's see.
We first told you yesterday about an
Pots. It is Laura and not Yanny.
Laura.
The legendary performer who shares one of the names weighed in. Yanny.
All right. I don't know. I don't know why some of us are hearing I don't know. Is it a reality shift kind of thing? I don't know. So, with my studying the law of attraction and that kind of stuff, I had this experience the other night. I came home from work, and it was probably close to 7 o'clock. And I was on, I had the radio on, and I was singing a Taylor Swift song. And I'm not really the hugest Taylor Swift fan. I like some of her songs, but some of them I just find to be annoying. And I remember that when I pulled in, like, I'm always thinking about songs that I'll work with my voice teacher. And we've been trying to lately get out of my comfort zone and get away from the lower songs and try different things because, just to expand my horizons. So I was singing one of the Taylor Swift songs, and I was like, oh, this song's not so bad. I might be able to pull this one off because her voice is higher than mine, but that particular song I felt like it was sitting well in my voice. So on my way home from my voice lesson last night, I was trying to remember what Taylor Swift song it was, and I couldn't remember because I liked the one about Romeo and Juliet, but I knew it wasn't that song. So I'm driving home, and then I flipped the channel, and then there we go. Here comes the song. It was Blank Space. I've got a blank space, baby, and I'll write your name, that one. And I just flipped the channel, and that was it. And I'm like, that's the song. I mean, I don't even understand how sometimes things like that happen so easy, and then other times things are so much more difficult. The only explanation I can come up with is the emotional ties to it. There's no real emotional tie to me not remembering that song, and there's no real emotional tie to whether or not, I wake up in the middle of the night and remember it, or 3 days later hear the song. But it happened like at the exact minute. Like I thought, gee, what was the name of that song? And then I changed the channel, and then there it was. Because I just, for whatever reason, it escaped me for that moment. So I think that that's bizarre. And I think it's bizarre that sometimes these law of attraction things can happen immediately and easily for some people, and other people struggle with it. But in my observation, some of the things or some of the limiting beliefs that I've dealt with over the years might be somewhat of a factor. Like what's some kind of a limiting belief? The biggest one I can think of right now for me would be life is not fair. And the reason why this comes to mind is because when I was working with Veronica, I was doing the email back and forth with Veronica. She had pointed out to me something that I said. She noticed that I happen to have this belief that life is not fair. And when she said it, I was like, you know what, you're right. I do believe that life isn't fair, and I say it all the time. Like I could remember having to close the store on Christmas Eve, but having been there 20 years in the company, I really shouldn't have had to do that. Somebody beneath me that wasn't there as long should have had to. But my attitude would be, well, that's just it. Life's not fair, whatever. Suck it up. Just do what you got to do and move on. What are you going to do? Get upset about it? So that's one example where I would say to myself, well, life's not fair. Well, nobody said life was fair. So this is the belief that I'm working really hard to change. So I can see why sometimes in my personal life with personal goals, I may struggle because I'm still working to change that belief. So what I'm doing now is every time a thought comes into my head where I'm like, oh, well, that'll never happen, or that can't happen, or not today, or it would never happen on Thursday. Maybe I might have to wait until Monday afternoon. Now I'm just trying to change those thoughts to anything is possible all the time. Because if you look back on your life and you think about these moments that you had that were really, maybe life-changing, or you got something that you wanted, or something really worked out for you, it probably didn't happen in the way that you expected it to happen, and it probably didn't happen at the moment you thought it would happen. It reminds me of the kind of situation where you're looking for someone, and you just can't find the person, and then all of a sudden, you bump into them at the gas station. You let go of the idea of this person, and then all of a sudden you bump into them. you know, it's like forcing something. Like you can use manipulation and you can use force to make something happen, but usually it doesn't work out the way you want it to work out. You know, like, I don't know, like, if you just think of a situation where you try to control the outcome, it usually doesn't work out the way you want it to work out. And then there are other times where you just kind of let go of whatever it is that's going on and things just work out as planned. And of course, I can't think of anything specific right now, but there are situations where I've been in where I'm just not worried about it. You know, I'm like, I'm just not going to worry about it. It's just going to work itself out. And it does, because most things do. I mean, we make a bigger deal out of things in our heads than they are in reality. You know, it's sometimes things are just not that big of a deal. Anyway, my point is that with all this Mandela stuff, with this Yanny, Laurel, a blue dress, a white dress, the sneakers are changing colors, because the sneaker changed color for me too. I'd always seen it as pink, and then I was having lunch with somebody and I showed him the picture and he was like, that sneaker is teal. And I was like, yeah, you're right, it is teal, but I always thought it was pink. So I don't know, why does it keep changing for me? Why do these things change for me, and are they changing for other people too? Yes, from what I'm hearing on the internet and in the comments, things are changing. But it's very wild if you think about how everything is so fluid and things can change at any time. Then it kind of gives you a greater hope that things can change in your particular situation, like whatever it might be. Like, for example, if you're looking for a job or a promotion or something like that, or a bonus, to have a limiting belief like, well, I'll never get it, I'll never get it. I think that those beliefs for me were always kind of self-protective. Like I was setting myself up to be prepared for not getting what I wanted, because I felt like if I didn't get it, then it would be less heartbreaking. But I don't think like that anymore. Now I just think I I'm gonna get it, and this is what I want, and it's my turn, and this is how it's gonna be. And I'm trying to change my thinking and my attitude, and it's very hard. It's hard as an adult to do it. I think it's easier as a child because you don't have that many years of programmed thoughts. And another thing that they say, that you become the person that you spend the most time with. So the 5 people in your life that you spend the most time with, you become those people. So if you're surrounding yourself with people that are sarcastic and depressed and cynical, that's what you're going to become. And if you surround yourself with people that are positive and look at the bright side, that's what you're going to become. So, you know, think about where you spend a lot of time. And I know it might be difficult, especially if you work with these types of people. I worked with a lot of people that were very sarcastic, and while I found it to be very funny, the reality that we were creating for a number of years was very, like, detrimental. Like the office that I worked in, the department I worked in, we could be very cynical. We could be, well, we never get anything and nobody ever appreciates us, and that's how we really felt. And that's the reality that was shown to us. Like, it reflected it back. And even when I worked at A&P, we also had that attitude at the last several years. It was like, you know, this place is going down, and, you know, what is going on here? I mean, you could see the sales were dropping. Now, another question that I had with, if you're creating your own reality, how come some of the stores were bought and some of the employees kept their jobs and some didn't? Some lost their jobs. And those that lost really lost. Like, the severance, I don't even want to tell you how disgusting the severance was. The other stores weren't willing to hire people from the stores that were closing because they were already taking on the employees that were already in those stores. And then even if they did, a lot of times it was a union switch. It was going to cost money. You were going to start as a new hire. You weren't going to start at what you left off at. I mean, it was the people that lost, they really lost. The people that their stores were bought, those people continued with whatever they had. Like they just turned over, from my understanding. I don't know exactly how true that is, but that's what I had heard, but who the hell knows? So my thinking is, collectively, were the workers in our store that closed much more negative and pessimistic than the employees in the stores that were bought? I don't know. This is just a theory. This is just something that I've been thinking of, because I was wondering too how our thoughts, if we're creating our own reality in a situation like that, where it's so broad because there are so many people involved. We had about 45 people working in our store. So for me to be positive and be thinking positive, I'm going to get hired, there's going to be a job here for me, but the rest of the company feeling the opposite, how would that collectively affect us? I would think that the more negative people it would shift to the negative, and that's why our store closed. Look, I'm just being hypothetical here. I don't know this for sure, but this is my thoughts, because they say that you have to be at 51%. So you have to be positive and focus 51%, which really isn't, it's not like you have to be like on cloud 9 95% of the time to make your manifestations happen. You just have to be positive most of the time. You have to be feeling good most of the time. If you always have an excuse as to why things aren't working out for you, and I have excuses. I've had excuses. I've heard myself say things before, and whether they were positive or negative, it didn't really matter. It was still a reason why I didn't think something was going to work out for me. I'm too overqualified. I'm too underqualified. It doesn't matter, positive or negative. You're still saying that you're not going to get what it is that you want. And that's what always got reflected back to me. So this is just,